Welcome back to the channel. This video will be dedicated to Egizia, the shifting sands from all these 4 authors. So a game for 90 minutes and to 2 to 4 players. So I need to say this, I love all games that have Egypt as a theme. I'm a sucker for that. So I just need to see some pyramids in the box and I'm in, okay? So that's what happened with this game. I've never played, but I saw the pyramids and I said, okay, I need to have it. And so this is a hero, it's a worker placement kind of thing. So then it's also something that I love the most. And if you also love this, then you will love this video and you will love this game. Okay, the Pharaoh has sent down an edict. You need to travel down the Nile, gather resources, and build iconic Egyptian monuments. And I love the board. So let's see what is inside this game and tell you a little bit about the rules. By the way, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe in order to help this channel to grow even more. So let's start with the manual. Yeah, it seems like it's a Terraforming Mars manual, but no, it starts here on this side. Okay, so that's a component. It's a big manual, but this game is pretty simple. Okay, how to set up everything. It's so large that I cannot keep inside the camera because these are larger pages. But I'll give you an overview of the manual. Then it's easy for me to explain without this in front of me. Some cards. This is this explanation of what all the cards do. Yeah, because there are a few. And then you have the Terraforming Mars, Colonies, Prelude, Maps, Venus, and Turmoil. Another great game, Terraforming Mars. Okay, so showing you the box, we take the thing, the board, and then you can see that my box is already being attacked here by mold, which is something that if someone knows how to fight against this, please tell me, because this is becoming a nightmare. Okay? 4 player boards. Top one is also getting affected with the mold. 4. And then in terms of components, that's a bit of empty space, right? It's that kind of insert where there's nothing below. It's just this, which is, let's see what it is. Let's see what it is. By the way, I also like these boxes that have publicity. I never played Survive Escape from Atlantis, Terraforming Mars, so these are for Portal games from Stronghold games, sorry. That's pretty clever. This one is cool, I've played. And Flame Rouge. Okay, so 4 players. Every player has bricks and then boats to use in the Nile. You understand why. So there's the yellow player, green, blue player, and the brown player. Brown is a rare color for scene games. Then you have some tokens. We'll need those to show you how the game works. And you also have two decks of cards. This one is the Sphinx deck. They all have not just that. There's the Sphinx deck, and with sleeves that are larger than what it should be, and the statue deck. I'll explain those along the way, when we get there. And also there's another deck, which is the Nile cards. Very well protected here in this plastic. So it's sleeve and plastic bag. So plastic bag is important because otherwise these cards will be bumping around. So you have the starter cards and then these decks that will be, so you play 5 rounds, which will be like 5 eras, and then you have the first era, second era deck, then the third and fourth era, and then there's going to be a 5th somewhere. It is the 5th, which is the last round. Okay, so let me open the board and start explaining you how this works. So the board is vertical and it's so large that I cannot put everything here on camera, so I'll just go step by step. Basically, you have here the River Nile. Look at that. It's so cool, the river. And along the way in the river, there are stops which you can interact. So that will be the places for you to place your workers. Okay? So your workers are these boats. So in the beginning of your turn, when it's your play, you decide where you want to stop. Okay, so you could stop in any of these branches. Most of them are single place, so if you go there, you block for other players. But there are a few that have more than one space to go. Okay, but the trick with this is when you play, you can choose any place that you want to go for the first time. But once you decide to go somewhere, imagine there, then your next boat, when it comes back to you, you need to put it further down from the one that you put. So you cannot go back and put there if it's available. Okay, so you may want desperately to move down to do something down here, but if you do immediately, then it means that you can only play your remaining boats down, which you don't see right now, because you cannot go back. So it has here this strategy of let me immediately get something that I really need, but that may condition my remaining plays, or I may play with some risk and start gathering some initial things and then hope that no one gets to either of these places of the river and you still have a chance to go there. Okay. Then if you go to these places that have several, when you do that, you basically, these are the places where you build the monuments that are on the map here. So the monuments are, you have here you have the obelisk and then this colonnade. But then further down you have the statues and the pyramid, right? But you can also come here to the Sphinx. Okay, we'll see all of them one by one. Okay, so but just to show you how these things go. So the first player that goes here, he puts the boat on the inside place, and then all the other players continue to put from further in to outside. And then the order of play will be from the outside, the player goes, okay? But, well, this depends on the number of players. You may have some of the places blocked or not, but imagine that it's already blocked. You can still come here and you put your boat here like he's on the wait to see if it's possible for you to use that action or not, because you may decide not, you may come here and decide not to do the action, okay? And this happens because these things are very important when you go and build things. So I may use my boat to come here and just block for other players not to do anything. But if I don't build, my boat simply goes away, okay? And then this goes in as a next player, and then it's an open space that the boat that is waiting could go and fill that, okay? So you cannot just block for others not don't do, because the waiting boat is on expectation and it will fill in. Okay. Let's talk about the player boards. So every player has a board like this, and it has a place where you count the number of stones that you have. You just use one of your bricks to mark the number, and then you have this track here that goes from 1 to 7, where you also track the experience or the level of your workers. Okay, so they move up. So this means that if, for example, this guy here if they are here, this is worth 2 plus 2 plus 2, and they are all different. You can see from the images, this one looks like the one that works with plants. This one is the one that gathers weed, and this one is the one that works with kind of cloths. And the purple one is the leader. It's a leader, okay? He's like pointing and telling others how to work. So in the game, you will be able to build things, and the amount that you can build, the power that you can build, the workers need to build alone, and they build the strength that is here, okay? So, for example, if you need to build a level 2 kind of monument, you can use one of these guys. I see if you do that, it turns down, meaning that it has been used this turn. But what will happen a lot is that you will need to combine forces to build something with higher level. So that's why you have the leader. So the leader by himself cannot build anything, so you cannot turn the leader to build something level 4. But what you can do is you turn the leader and some other worker, like the blue one, for example, then you can build something strength 6, 4 plus 2, okay? So that's why the leaders are important. But then it means that the remaining 2 guys, they need to build strength 2 by until the end of the round. Because in the end of the round, you will be turning everything up, and they will be available to be used later on, okay? So it's important for you to understand what you have here on the board, what is stone, etc., in order to see everything else that I'm going to show you. On your turn in these top zones of the map, so if you place here, you will be able to access the bonus that you see, which is leveling up the tracks. So there is a track for grain, and there's a track here for stone. Those symbols just means that you move up and you have certain bonus. And here you just move up the specific kind of employee or workers that you have on your board. So the green one and the yellow one, or could be the leader or the irrigation, which I'll show you what it is, right? So that's what you get if you go here. Then if you go to this side, you just take the cards that is there, and cards will be like upgrades for your board. When you're in your production, you'll produce faster. Some of them are permanent things for production. Others are some effects. We'll see the cards. Others have instant effects. So here, what you have, the cards that you have are for examples of the 1 and 2, because this is the initial deck. Okay, but then if you decide to build, then you put your car there, your boat, and then when you build, this zone will be the zone that allows you to build on both these, the obelisk and the colonnade. And you can build on both. If you have enough stone, enough power, you can immediately build on both. The way it works for the obelisk is, so there are numbers here. You just need to have the available stone and power to use one of your stones. So you need one stone, and that will be a second stone as well there. But then in terms of power of workers, it's 1 + 1 + 4. So you need to have 4 of worker strength, okay? And every time you build here, you will go up as well here on this side. You choose which track you want to go up, if it's on the grain or on the stone. But then if you pass the threshold here of the 4 and you build on the 5, then you go up on both at the same time. So it's very good. Then on the colonnade. On the colonnade, if you can see, every column have the colors of the players. So yellow player, red, here it looks like red, so the brownish kind of player, the blue and the green one. If you decide to build as a yellow player here, I would need to start filling the top rows, which is the yellow row. So then what I need to pay is, in terms of strength, is the numbers that you see here. And one of the numbers that is hidden, so it's 1, 1. So if I build this and this, then I just need to add 2 on the strength of the workers, which will combine these two with the example that I gave, which would be here. So I would need to sum everything, and I would need to have a worker with the leader or not, able to build all these things. Then this one costs more, it costs 2. But costs more because here on top you see there is a yellow zone and there is a purple zone. Okay, so throughout setup, randomly, you will be taking yellow. You'll be choosing one random yellow oval and one purple oval, and those will be the things that will be here. So this will be a special power, or 2 special powers that you have access. Once you build this, it gives you access to that power there. Okay, and then once you go around and build this one, which costs 3, more expensive, you also have access to the power that you see here. We'll see the powers later. Okay, and then in the end of the game, this is also giving you points for the most built here in terms of columns. Moving down the Nile. So here you also have cards on this side working the same way. But then on this side, what you have is this place where you can put your boat. It gives you access to build on the statues and on the pyramid. So these 2 structures work differently, starting with the statues. So you have always 3 statues that randomly were drawn throughout the game. Those statues will have a reference to some other things in the map. Right, so this one that I randomly took also for this example. This one is the number of bricks that you have on the pyramid. This one is the number of quarry the stone that you produce, and this one is regarding your crew strength. So basically, you need to pay the stone, 1 stone, 2 or 2, and you put your brick in the level that you want. This will give you points in the end of the game, okay? But in order for you to get access to those points, you need to fulfill the criteria that you have here in the middle. So, for example, for you to have these 2 points in the end of the game, you need to have at least 3 bricks in the pyramid. We'll see after how that is built. Okay, but if you manage to put bricks until here in the end, you put 3 yellow bricks, it means that you may have 10 points from this statue if you manage to put 6 bricks here on the pyramid. So these things are very interconnected, and you need to think strategically how you are going to spend your resources to maximize the points that you get. So these are independent buildings, because another player can come here and also build here, and you will be giving access to this point and continue to build, or just stay there. And the same logic is applied to the others, and we'll see the cards separately for you to see what kind of strategy may come out. Okay, and then the pyramid. So the pyramid is the most exotic or maybe important building here, because it gives a lot of points. So basically the pyramid is, you need to start building from left to right per row, right? And then you can only build this 3 spot if you build the bases of the pyramid. So you need to build the blocks below in order to build on the blocks on top. So if these 2 are built, the same player could build here the 3 because the base is done, or another player could come and build on the 3. Okay, and then every time the stone that you spend, you always get it on victory points. But then if you complete a row, if the row is completed, okay, then you score for the number of bricks that you have. In this example, because the blue player was the one finishing, we would count the majority. So because yellow has more, you would score 4 because he has 4 tiles, so blue won't score anything. But don't forget that once you build a block, you spend stone, and on the pyramid you always get the stone that you spent 1 point. So the blue also would get 2 points here by building just this block. Okay, and then here it says in the end, whoever has the most bricks in the pyramid gets 5 points. So if the game ended in this scenario, then yellow would get these 5 points because he has more. Okay, so the more you go up in the pyramid, the more points you'll get by building, because just by building you get these points here. Okay, and then in the end, there's also a final step here, which is the Sphinx, that works as a boat place. But there's a difference here. You see there's a max of 2, max of 3, max of 5. So depending on where you land here, you can draw from the Sphinx deck that is here, you can draw that many cards, a maximum of 2, 3, or 5. And then from these cards, you choose 1 to keep. So basically these are cards that are end of the game bonus, right? So you choose which one you think that you will be able to score. And by the end of rounds, you have things like if you 8 points there, if you have completely built at least 2 statues and have at least 4 bricks in the pyramid. So 2 statues and 4 bricks in the pyramid, you achieve that. If you have 1 victory point for each permanent card you own, so you need to get them from the Nile, we'll see those cards. 3 points if you reach at the top level of the grain market. And you see very different ones. Maybe all of them are different, not sure. If you have the majority on production, I think all of them are different. There are no competing, no repetition. So many different ways that you could score. Okay, so if you're able to combine things that would score twice, or in things that you could achieve just by the engine that you're building, then in the end of the game that will give you lots of points. So another thing that you may notice is that this symbol that we've seen, the irrigation, the symbol of the irrigation is here on this right side of the map. There are these 3 seasons, and in the beginning the irrigation starts in the middle. Okay, so this has to do with the production cards. Okay, some production cards, they have, let's try to find one here to show you. Let me see if I can show you. Okay, so the production cards, they have seasons. So this one is like a green production card, which is this, that, and that. Then some are yellow, okay, which is only exists here and here. And some of them are red, production red, like this one here. Okay, this means that you can screw other players if you move around the production by hitting that spot, because if you move the production here, only green cards produce. So if your opponents have red and yellows, they won't get the production. Then they will be forced to move here. Then this will be the thing that is the best for everyone, because it will always produce. All the seasons will produce. So irrigation also affects. In terms of stone production, so every time you move that up here or there, then you'll be moving up on this track. So if you get here, you will be getting these extra things. But then what really matters is these two last things, these two last stages, which in the end of the game, you get 1 victory point for each of two stones that you have. So you want to try to be there in order to be able to get that. In a similar way with grain, there is a track here that you can go up on the obelisk or by certain tiles, and you go up. The thing with the grain is that there is a phase in the turn, which is after building, you need to pay your workers. To pay your workers, basically you sum the strength of your workers. That comes from the player board, the sum of the strength of them, and you need to have that grain available in your production. If you don't have, then depending on where you are, you'll get negative points. So if your production of grain is just here, then for every missing grain, you get -3 points, then here will be -2, and here will be just -1, okay? And here, if you are at this stage, you can also sell 3 grains to get 1 victory point. And if you manage to be here on the top, if you continue to go up, then you'll be not getting anything else, but you will be getting victory points. Every time you hit here, ping, 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 it's victory points. Looking at the cards, so the players start with starter cards. They have a production of 6 of grain and 3 of stone, which later on could be upgraded and become 10 and 6 of stone, okay? So that's the starter cards. Then if you look at the deck, and some cards are mixed here, but I'm just join to the many ones and show you. In terms of decks, then later on you'll be able to acquire more production of stone or permanent bonus. So you go down 1 here, and this has all the symbols, so you can choose which one goes down, but then you go up on these 2, on both those. They also have the cards that give immediate things, but this one is immediate, but also stays on your production because it gives you 6 of production on the dry season, 4 productions, 5 on the yellow season. That's basically what you have. And this improves, it's an upgrade on one of the production. So basically that's it, right? It's either production or instant in effects, and at any time you can use this card to get 6 stones. These are cards that come in the end of the game. You can keep, this one you can keep 2 of the Sphinx cards instead of choosing just 1. You advance on grain twice. That's it. So all the cards are different as well, which is good. It gives it lots of variety here on what could come out. This one makes you move irrigation twice. Although the stones are pointing in that direction, they could move down as well, as you prefer. This is victory points, immediate victory points, right? Immediate 3, and then it counts as a production. So lots of strategy that you can go. What is this one? You place a brick, immediately place a brick into the obelisk, colonnade or pyramid, but there's no victory point, so you just place a brick and you don't need to visit the place to place the brick. You can put 2 ships. This one is good. You play twice following. Okay, that's what you get. So get an idea. And then, so on the first round there is the tiles that are the base one. There's no change, but then later on the game recommends that we mix here a bit of the tiles and then randomly put them down, as you can see, okay, and then reveal, and we get different stuff. We get different stuff. And this even says here for a certain number of players. So this one will be for 3 players. The powers change a little bit. So this one here, so you see the same thing, but could be somewhere else. Irrigation and points. Yeah, it changes. Okay. Like the bonus that you can get there on the colonnade. This one is for two players can only be used on 2 players because it's more powerful. Maybe 3 and plus. This is 2 and plus. No, this is just for 2 players. So there is a variant for 2 players that requires a specific setup. That's it. So this was Egizia. Never heard this name. Not sure what it means. Egizia. I think it's Egypt. Is it another name for Egypt? Egizia. As I mentioned in the beginning, I love the theme. I love the art. I love the feeling of working on the monuments, the famous monuments in Egypt, traveling the Nile. It's really, really touching me in all the points there. So I hope you also like the video to the point that you consider hitting that like button and subscribe. As mentioned in the beginning, I have a playlist for lots of board games and also the major card games out there. And I also have a podcast in the channel called The Table Talks, where I'm interviewing people to get to know their projects, their profiles, their stories, while playing board games online with them. So I definitely think that you will find interesting content in the channel to consider subscribing and to be part of this group. Thank you very much. And I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.